Earlier, Kimpact Development Initiative, that is KDI, held a press conference for the 2023 Nigeria Election Violence Report Project on violence mitigation, peaceful electoral processes and procedures in the 2023 off-cycle elections in Bayelsa State, Imo, and also Kogi states. And now, joining me live is Bukola Idowu, who is the team lead, Kimpact Development Initiative, to talk more about what will transpire in these three states tomorrow. Bukola, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
So we know that in situations like these, when election comes into play, the states or areas or the people involved will be apprehensive. The situation or the atmosphere is always tense. So in situations like this, I'd like you to tell us about KDI's mission and objectives in promoting peace during electoral processes like this.
Basically, what we have been doing around this election for the past 1 year, from the general election, and then we started for the off-cycle election, is to begin to track, document, and mitigate issue of electoral violence, because we discovered that that is one of the red signal for citizen participation. And you know, as election is so important to democracy, so is participation to election. So when citizens are not participating in an election, then it calls to question the integrity of that election. And one of the things that can actually debar citizens from participating in an election is electoral violence. So what we have been doing is to track and document and then see how we mitigate issue of electoral violence. Basically, KDI has been engaging the security agencies and other stakeholders to see how the issues of electoral violence can be mitigated.
So looking at the way election went at the beginning of this year, that is the general elections, let me just put it that way, and what obtains now, in terms of your observation and engagement, are there any kind of intuition that you have or any inclination that shows that there's a possibility that there might be violence, or you are given the assurance that whatever the situation may be, you have information or credible information that the process will be peaceful?
That is what we are. That is our hope, that we are going to have a peaceful election in the three states tomorrow. However, if you look at the interplay 6 months before now that we have been tracking and the indices on ground, there is nothing that shows that the election is going to be peaceful. Because, for instance, in our release today, we did mention that we had. We've recorded like about 111 cases of electoral violence in the three states. Kogi leading, followed by Imo, followed by, and then the Bayelsa. And when you look at that, that is actually a red signal. Just 3 days ago, there was an attack in Kogi, and then last week you have an attack in Imo, and then you have issues, as I'm talking to you, in some part of Bayelsa, you have issues around security agencies and logistic deployment. So when you look at some of these indices and early warning signals that we have seen in terms of destruction of campaign materials, in terms of in terms of hate speech, in terms of violence, group clashes that we have recorded, then we have to raise the alarm, and we have to alert the security agency that, look, we may be toiling with low voter turnout, because if you allow these cases of violence to go like this, then we will be toiling with low voter turnout. However, with a lot of mitigating efforts we have put in place and collaborating with other people, we are hopeful of a very peaceful election tomorrow.
So let's talk about the collaborative efforts of the KDI. How do you go about engaging principals, those who will be contesting, the stakeholders, the parties involved, the representatives, and of course, security apparatus in those states to ensure that the process is peaceful. We talk about civil organizations, groups, and others that have vested interest in electoral cycles like this. How do you go about collaborating with them to ensure that the atmosphere is calm and peaceful?
So, and I will start with what we have done with the political party and the security agencies. For the political parties and the security agencies, on Sunday, we hosted them in a town hall meeting, people's town hall meeting, interfacing with the political party leaders, the chairman of political parties, the Inspector General of Police was also in that meeting, security experts, IPAC chairman, and other stakeholders. We created a platform for them to interact and have and citizens to interact with them. And we've received commitment from them to allow peace to reign in this election. So that is one of the mitigating efforts we are using. Like I said earlier, we have also been tracking the issue of electoral violence. And what we have done with it is that the data we have, we have to engage the head of election security in and the security agencies in these election in the three states. We gather together and then to share what we have with them, and then to also give them our opinion and where we think that we need to deploy more and where they need to pay more attention. Okay. And so and this has been generating a lot of progress. And again, as I'm talking to you now, we have we set up peace committee in these three states, okay, working with other stakeholders, civil society, engaging the actors, okay, local actors in those states.
Okay, Bukola Idowu, Team Lead Kimpact Development Initiative, thank you so much for the job you're doing and for also talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.